everyone. Thank you for joining us on Adobe Live. I'm Danielle Morimoto. I'm a design manager here at Adobe, and we are live from the San Francisco office, from the studio. Thank you so much again for joining. I am here with Tomasz Opashiński, and I'll let you introduce yourself to everyone on the stream.
Hi, my name is Tomasz Opashiński. I'm a creative technologist here at Adobe for the last year and a half. And today we're going to talk about Firefly and what it can do for you and how you can use it to the fullest.
Yeah, we are definitely going to be walking through like what is Firefly, how can you use it in your process, and specifically we're going to be looking at how you could create a poster design and what that process is like and bring that into Photoshop. So really excited to have you all joining us. I see we have Joey in the stream. Randy is also joining us from Arizona. Thank you so much. Again, like send in your questions as you have them. Let us know what you want to see us make. We're really here to like be chatting with all of you and be engaging like together to make something really interesting on the stream today. So with that, let's take a look at, we have sort of a little deck together to kind of go through like the possibilities and start to open up the conversation about the creative process. So I'll let you kind of take it away for
fantastic.
a little bit.
Thank you. We're looking at the chat here, so if you have questions, please do ask anything. We're reading it here really hard. Before we start, I would love to share a quick presentation to bore you to death literally in the first 5 or 10 minutes. And the reason why we prepared this deck together is that we would like to show you a slightly different angle of Adobe Firefly. As we often, my napkins. As we share this technology with people, it's often misunderstood a little bit. Like, how could it help me? How can it enhance my abilities, right? So within this presentation, I would love to show you a little bit how this can become your partner, your little apprentice that is tireless. Literally, you can use it all night long, and this will never be tired, right? So I hope you can see my screen, Adobe Firefly Beta 2023, rock and roll. Digital Apprentice, how I've started working with this internally here is to try it on the real life examples. Yes, we can generate beautiful, butterflies and dragons and stuff, but how does it apply to real life scenarios? My past is in poster making, so probably that's why we're going to make some posters or show you at least posters, is that, how do I use it in the real world? It's pointless to me to just generate this. I would love to make money on this, maybe, possibly, right? So how do I do this? So I've started with a bunch of projects, internal projects, when we're still in a testing phase of Adobe Firefly, and I've been trying to, make something out of this, something that client will enjoy, or I'll be paid for, or I can, streamline my work process. And you'll see a bunch of examples of early work with the Firefly. So generated assets are not, up to par to the current version that you're probably trying right now. But it gives you a good idea of like, hey, we can look at this beyond just one image. It's way more fun if you collage them together, right?
And
if
you
tell
made
the
these
story.
with Firefly.
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
of
these
course.
are like examples of like the types of output. And what I like about this is there's a lot of variety. And like as you go through, we'll see like kind of the variety of the different versions of what you really can get. Because I feel like with a prompt-based thing, sometimes it's hard to know like where to start or like what are the possibilities, which is cool and exciting because you can really jam and riff on it, which is part of the fun part of the creative process.
Yeah.
But one question that already came through in the chat that I'd love for you to like just address about Firefly in general too is like from one of the people is like, how is Firefly different from some of the other like art generators or like other models that are out there today?
You know how we work? First question I'm going to answer is that we often go into this tunnel with prompts, and we often look for painterly stuff or 3D looking stuff, but there's so much more. Over the last few months, we've worked on a bunch of different categories that you can explore. Is it Art Deco? Is it paper cut?
Yeah.
Something else? Fantastic. So please go and check it out. To answer your question, is we've trained our model on our stock imagery, and I won't go into details how we did it and how long it took, but literally what you're seeing is results from us parsing our library of I don't know how many millions of assets that we own. And it's all good to use, I do believe, with the version 1.0 that it's coming. You'll be free to use it commercially, which is fantastic. So this is main differentiator.
It's a huge thing. Being able to use
huge.
it like commercially safe is a big differentiator for us, and I think that like being able to just train it on all, like having that access to all the Adobe stock imagery and like be able to train it on that is really exciting. But yeah, I'll let you like keep jamming through and like
Yeah,
show
yeah.
the possibilities. And we'll go into Firefly as well, so you can see like what the beta looks like, how you can type it in, like how it all works. But we really want to give you a sense of like the possibilities as well, and like how does it affect the actual process.
Yes, and I highly encourage you to go into and explore prompts a little bit. Simple prompts, just an elephant, won't do the justice to the software that you're using. Literally, you can get way more out of this if you ask intricate questions. What kind of angle you're looking for? What kind of lighting you're looking for, right? We've been working on this tirelessly for quite a few months, and now it's all in your hands. So I would love to, and actually I'm working on right now on a guide for prompts for Adobe Firefly. So you'll be able to actually go deeper and get more out of this. So beyond 2 or 3 words prompts, right? So as you can see, the reason why I did a bunch of different styles, I wanted to test it, right? I want to test it, okay, painterly. Everybody does painterly, right? But how we do real life scenario or some sort of abstract thing, how would it work? Would I ever present it to my client? And of course, this is not last slide that I have here. I have a bunch of more. And what you're seeing right now, it's sort of my exploration of where we were going through different prompts, and you see how long the prompt is at the bottom. It's not to the extreme, but it's a longer, more elaborate prompt that you usually use, right? And look at the styles on the right. And actually, if you're using Adobe Firefly Beta right now, please go through every single one, because it will surprise you how cool those images are, right? And how we are looking at this is not the singular image that I will use, although I can, right? This is a beautiful poster for Halloween and something like this. It's awesome already as it is, right? Sick kind of thing. But look at this from the perspective of atoms, of elements that you can use somewhere else, right? Yes, there is no torso here. Maybe you can paint it over or maybe cover with something. So I want to throw a curveball into your process. Think about those as elements. And as you will see in a second, there is plenty of elements to choose from. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a pre-recorded video of walking through the layers, and you will see how this was built. This is awesome. I love this icon, by the way. Whoever did this within Adobe, I love it. This monkey is so cool. But what you're seeing here on the screen is that our approach to poster making, to tell the story from more than just one image. Yes, one image may be impactful, right? If you find the right one. But imagine the world where you have multiple images and they all tell the story. They all guide you through this image, right? Like in posters. When we design posters, we tell nothing else but stories. So I use the same base prompt as far as like graffiti and colors go into this, but then I switch the characters. Is it a pumpkin? And is it a wicked rabbit? Is it some sort of a pasty lady there? Is it a house? But I got everything in one style, which was fantastic. I could keep the style and keep, going through this. And then collage, montage, and this is where Photoshop comes in. And this is how we are seeing this tool, not by itself, not standalone, because at some point you'll get bored with those images. Let's be honest. You'll generate a bunch of monkeys and stuff, and you'll be like, I don't want to use it, right? And then Photoshop, if you know how to use this or any other tool that you're compositing those images, and the gates open, right? So you go into this ideation within Firefly, and then you explore this within Photoshop and collages and add colors and text, of course, and textures and stuff. It's a second life of this asset. And this is what we'll highly encourage you to do, to look at it from this perspective as a resource.
Yeah, and I think one of the questions in the chat, like you mentioned that you're using like the same style kind of over and over again to get all of these different assets that you want to bring together. And it looks like Randy's wondering, like, how did you maintain that style? Like, I guess what the questions is, do you use the same wording? Is the style already there? Like, how do you maintain that across assets?
Both ways. There is a style that it's art style or concept art, right? You can keep having this and evolving your prompts, and I'll show you those prompts in a split second. But there is a part of the prompt that it's constant in a way. If I start with highly detailed painting of X, Y, and Z, I can keep it from object to object, right? If I describe colors as poppy colors with lots of orange and purple and stuff, I can keep this, right? So I will just swap the words that describe what I want to invent. Is it a pumpkin? Is it a wicked rabbit? Is it a bunch of zombies walking down at the bottom of this poster, right? And so on and so forth. And then you stay in the same style. Unfortunately, there is no, and that's a good idea maybe, to keep the style, right? Somewhere to save your own
Yeah, I mean,
style.
hey, if you have ideas too for what you want to see, like let us know.
it.
We are actually working on like the tools, on the products, right? So if you have ideas and how you actually use it or what you want to see that would be useful, definitely send it through in the chat. We'll keep an eye on that. But I think the other thing too I'm seeing is other people are saying like, I use lengthy prompts in the beta too. I think that's like the big thing is like the more detail that you add, the more specific the output's going to be. But I think what's cool about seeing your process is also that you don't have to say everything to get just like this one poster, right? Like you're getting bits and pieces of the assets that you want to use and then like go into Photoshop, like combine those things and like make it, but it gives you like a cool sense and like the styling and gives you real things you can use right away, which is really awesome.
Yes. And what I wanted to add, Jesus, I'm getting old. Okay. So speaking of
Aren't we all?
speaking of feedback, please give us feedback. There is only so much we know internally. I know from my career how to do this and what to do, but there is also so much I don't know. I don't know matte painter's role, how exactly it works, right? Texture painter, and so on and so forth. There's so many sub-design sets that we're not familiar with. So please help us. Literally, my mission is, and our mission is to bring you the tools. Originally, I joined Adobe because of that. I want to bring the tools to my friends that are still out there working on this stuff. I want your life to be easier in a way.
Yeah, we're really excited because I feel like this is just the beginning. I feel like there's a lot that we've been talking about, and I can't say everything, but like, I think that there's so much that we're exploring that's also like, how do we give more creative control? Like, what are like these next cool things that you can start to do? We're just like at the very beginning, which is what's exciting. But I think like this is a cool thing. Like, play with the beta, like send the feedback through. I know that Wade was able to send the Adobe Firefly link in the chat, which is helpful. And then there's also like a Discord channel. Thanks for sending that link through. So if you do want to like have more discussion, send through like what you're making, talk to other people in the community about it. Like, it's a great place to do that.
Yeah. Again, it's just a start for us, so official start, right? And then when it comes to real life, then comes experience. What you're seeing also on the screen, I have just a few more slides, I promise. I won't bore you more with this.
We'll get into Firefly.
It's like, I wanted to show you how, what would be the easiest start, right? So how I usually start and how folks in my creative field usually started was with a cloud of words, right? What I'm seeing in my head that I would love to create. And this is like the easiest way, right? So I set myself on this Halloween poster, right, that I wanted to do. And I wrote down words that will help me to generate those prompts, right? So I'm thinking Halloween, trees, pumpkins, zombies, dead, cemeteries, skeleton, creatures, anything that is in my mind associated with this poster, I wrote it down. And guess why? The reason why I wrote it is to use it later on within the prompt. So I can always go back, I forgot about skeletons or birds, right? They're creepy, black birds, and they're flying something. To add the mood and to add to the story. So you write this down, you have it on somewhere on a piece of paper or whatever, and then you start sort of sketching how you're seeing this. So what you're seeing here, I'm using classic Hollywood approach to a villain, that you see villain's eyes in the background, like you see Darth Vader's or whoever. And the rest of the characters and some additional story at the bottom, sense of place where it takes place, right? This haunted house with a weird shiny window. So I started sketching it really quickly, and this is not the piece of art in the center by any means, but you see the process actually, how it works. It's not that I have everything in my head at the beginning and just looking for Firefly to answer all those questions. Oh no, this is not the tool, and it probably will never be, right? Your tool is right here. It's in your head. And what you're seeing here, actually, it's a process that I went through to generate this poster. What you're seeing on the left is generalized amount of assets that I had to go through to select those that I will need to use, right? So I went through and I sort of counted about 1,100 different assets. So there was a lot of clicking. I felt like I'm in a casino, literally in Vegas, clicking no.
But I think it's good to know, because I think some people are like, oh, am I just like supposed to type everything in like one off? Like that's exactly what I'm going to get, and that's the perfect thing. And I feel like this is giving you the insight, which is there's still that creative process that's there. You still have to figure out what you want. There's still that iteration that's going to happen as you're going through, and then to get to like ultimately what you might have in your mind. But I think like the other thing that was coming through in the chat is when we were talking about like what kind of things would you want to see, like people were like, would love to be able to save styles, which yes, noted. Like I think we've been talking about that as well. So anyone who's been sent that through, yes. And then I think the freelance retoucher, you sent through like what prompts to use to give us more photorealistic results. I don't know if you want to speak towards that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So you just said it, photorealistic. So within a prompt, you can use highly detailed photo, for example, and you get highly detailed photo. If you use highly detailed or extremely detailed painting or woodwork or something like this, it will be there. So start with this. Start with what it is, right? Is it a photo? Is it a painting? Is it rendering? Is it some sort of woodwork, as I said? Start with this. So computer knows it's like, hey, I'm looking through photos, or I'm looking through, it's like a path that you're telling computer which to take to get to your result, right? So you start with general idea what is could be, then what it should be, and at the end, it's like how you'd like to see it. Maybe camera, that will be a GoPro, right? You want to see this with like really fisheye thing, so you type GoPro style or something like this, or graffiti style, how you want to see it. That's the style, actually, Tomasz, hello. But I hope you get the idea. At the end, use the camera. Is it horizontal? Is it cinematic, etc., etc. So there is a syntax to what you're building, and actually in my manual, we'll cover this in detail. There are some extra parameters that we're still working on. It's work in progress. It's still hot. So expect from us within the next, hopefully, few weeks, some sort of explanation how to do this, how to work with this software. It's slightly different.
Yeah, and if we go over to my screen just for a second, we'll come back to this. Like if you see in this example on the Firefly website, like there's some examples of ones that have already been created, so you can kind of riff off of those, or you can start from scratch and create your own. But here you can see that someone put in the prompt itself, like architectural photographies. They use that language in the prompt here. And there's extra styles like wide angle, like you were starting to get to for like the detail. But there's also content types. So if you want, like you could say like, I want it to be like a photo, right? Like I want it to be graphic, or I want it to be more like art. And again, there's like styles here as well, so you get to like really specifics, lighting, composition. So that's pretty cool. So again, like if you're looking for like photography, this is definitely like, there's multiple ways to kind of do that, but you can just put it directly in your prompt and it'll output that.
Can you go back to this? I want to show you something. This is the easiest way to do this. Click on image that you would like to work on, and you'll see how the prompt was built. This is awesome. This like literally, if you click on the frog,
you just like hover over it, you can just see the prompt that created this thing, which is amazing.
I think this is one of the coolest features. You know exactly what happened, and then once you click on it, you can riff off of this, right? So you go by 10 or 20, and you sort of get the idea. This is how it works. So we'll push for more of these. Soon you will see a little bit more of that there, and expect some sort of manual for Firefly as we're trying to figure this out.
Yep. For sure.
Can we go back to my screen? Awesome. Where did I finish? Okay. So I had to go through about 1,100 images, and I do not expect
casual.
Casual.
Back where was I? Oh yeah, 1,100 images.
1,100, if not more. But what's in my mind, and this is part of the creative process, is often not what is being generated, right? And actually, I don't know clearly what I want and what kind of look I'm searching for, right? So it's still, when you're rendering those images, when you're generating them, it's still a process. It's a creative process, and you have to sort of see the whole thing in your mind, be like, this may work, this may not work. So on trial and error, go through it, save a bunch of images, and then go through them. Literally, the second column, I've selected 44 images for this collage, as I thought pumpkins would be needed, etc., etc. Then I got those images, and then guess what? Hard work started because I had to mask all those characters, right? Segment, as we call it here. So masking all those characters. Luckily, in Photoshop, you can object mask almost automatically. If you're picky like me, you have to go and doodle a little bit with that. So that was another process that goes into it. And then, of course, trusting my initial illustration, I started building and assembling, blending those elements, right? So they're not like cut and paste really things. What you're seeing here, and maybe we can post some of the stuff later online, is prompts that I've been using. Every single image with the prompt. What's kind of cool, actually, that every single image you save, the name is the prompt, which is awesome. You can go back tomorrow and see exactly what you were typing, right? You can do copy, paste, boom, and you're starting from the point. Instead of some magical number 7, 3, 2, 1, you're just starting with your prompt. How cool is that, right? I I think it's cool.
It's cool.
These are the images that we've sort of generated for this poster. I won't stay much for it, but literally look at the breadth of styles. The frame in the center was created literally using Firefly. I had so much fun with this. Honestly, I think I've created just 1,100 of those frames. I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. And I use this as a placeholder, as a device to tell the story. If it's a mystery, I want to hide mysterious stuff, right? So going again beyond one image. Let's start creating something more than just singular images. And that's the end of my boring part with the presentation. I want to show you, just walk through layers, if that's helpful. If not, just let me know in chat. Just Tomasz, cut it, and let's get to Firefly. But I want to share you the process, because we often forget about this, that it's actually, the Firefly is just the beginning. It's just a resource for you. It's just a bag with images.
Yeah, and I think the thing, like Tomasz and I were talking about earlier, was also with the posters, like seeing the variety that you've been able to make. Like some are way more abstract, some are really like simple and graphic and photographic, while others might be like more illustrative and like dark and have like a ton of detail to them. And it's just nice to see the process too of like bringing it into Photoshop. Like how do you then piece it together? You're kind of collaging those elements. Like when do you put a bunch of things in a text prompt and say, this is like one image I want, versus I actually want to cut some things out because I want to put it in this poster like later on. It's
also a source of inspiration, how we were talking about this. Yes, I may have the idea, but within this unknown that is being generated by a computer, like on a bunch of weird algorithms, there is something surprisingly fresh when it presents it to me. It's like, I'm surprised and I'm like, that's interesting angle. I never thought about this, right? But it makes sense. The low angle suggests that this guy is huge and beyond, everything. It's majestic. Maybe I will use that. Maybe that's even better than what I thought. And with this, actually, I didn't want to forget this. So the reason why I'm doing this is that often my clients, and I've been doing this for a long time, my clients did not respond well to my sketches. You saw the middle sketch, this? Imagine that you're a client and Tomasz comes to you like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. And they're like, should I pay you for this? Not really, I don't know. So imagine if I come to them with this and ask for a photo shoot or ask for illustration, right? Detailed illustration. Because there's some nuances that you are not seeing here that are not pretty, right? As it is better. But imagine the client if they see something like this versus my doodly sketch that you saw before, right? Imagine how the interaction changes. Imagine how the approval process changes, how it shortens, how you build trust literally with your clients using this tool. I went through this millions of times, and my personal clients that I had for years, they knew what to expect. But if I had a new client, oh shoot, was it a challenge?
Well, and to show just like the general style, because I feel like sometimes you can tell them what's going to be in it and you can maybe sketch that out, but to get a sense of really like the look and feel of what it is, like to be able to quickly generate something, to be like, this is the style, right? Yeah. Like I feel like that is much easier now with Firefly, and that's like something you can use in your process. And yes, just to clarify, I know Blitzy was asking like what product that was in, and that was Photoshop, just to clarify. Yeah. But yeah, and then like taking pieces that were created in Adobe Firefly and then bringing them into Photoshop.
For example, you're seeing this image on the left. It's it's an ice cream that I came up with, that it's made out of chili ice cream, so not usual stuff. Probably they're somewhere out there.
Flamin' hot.
Flamin' hot. I didn't know how to visualize this. So I'm like, okay, if I'm talking about actual product, how would I illustrate it for advertising, right? And instead of drawing this, again, with those squiggly lines, I can generate it right now. I can mess with this in Photoshop, so I highly encourage you, if you're not using Photoshop, just use it. It's such an awesome tool. My whole career for the last 20 years is in Photoshop. Without this tool, I would not have a career. I would be, I don't know, doing something completely. I'll be a mechanic, most likely.
Well, let's jump into Adobe Firefly and just like start to jam in that and like give you all a sense of what it actually looks like, how to play with it. And I like, Santos, like your comment in the chat, which is, yes, AI doesn't make the work for you, it just enhances your workflow. Yes. Right? I think that's definitely like what we're trying to get to, which is there's still a big part of storytelling and process that still will exist. It's just, this is really like helping you with efficiency, helping you to imagine and explore different ideas, or just like get to those pieces and those assets like a bit faster, which is really nice.
I'm typing right now something more elaborate than classic. Look at this first elephant at the top, which is kind of funny. What else can I add? Maybe golden hour, and I don't know, low angle. Let's say. I hope it's gonna work, right?
You never know what you're gonna get.
You never know. You sort of expect the algorithm, how it's building it. It's using for a little bit not super similar images, but slightly different, right? So you will see different angles on purpose, actually, because if you will be getting the same angle, that's kind of pointless. You want to try different angles and maybe explore different visions. So you see how in the first image, I've just generated an elephant and it was just standing there, right? But look at this right now, how it evolves, how it gives you a sense of place. So you get a little bit more of that, more of the story. If you were to illustrate something with this right now, you get a little bit more where he lives, where she, what she does, right?
It's pretty cool because I think in the chat too, we had someone who was asking a bit more about like using it as an illustrator to like create a book or maybe like create comics or things like that. And I see Joey in the chat said like that they're a filmmaker and would actually use Firefly in their creative process to create like new visuals to use in mood boards. And I know mood boards is definitely a cool use case to use Firefly for kind of inspiration or just to get that look and feel and kind of put all those pieces together to bring to a client or just to start a project.
Yes, or actually get the direction from a client, right? Is this the mood that we're looking for? Yeah. If not, maybe you can change the overgrown forest that I just wrote and put desert in there or something like this, right? So that's a fantastic tool. Actually, you can do this with your client right now. Actually, you can sit there and you can both doodle. Or maybe the client can send you image. Hey, Tomasz, this is the mood that I'm looking for. Please explore this in A, B, and C. Right, so that is fantastic. I'm so excited about the projects that we're working on internally, and you will see them within the next few months and years.
Yeah, we're working on things fast. It'll be exciting.
I think it was mentioned before the 3D, so it's coming. This is going to be interesting for you to try, and I'll zip my lip. I don't know.
Like, Tomasz, I don't know. No. Slowly, Tomasz is like wheeled out of here, out of the room.
Tomasz's last day at Adobe.
And goodbye. Never seen it. No, you're good.
Oh, just disappeared. So, what are we doing? Should we start? Tell us, what would you like to know? Or maybe there are more questions about just Firefly, the process, or maybe the creative process, or maybe you want me to start working on something. I can design, which is really unfortunate that I forgot my tablet here, and I'm a tablet kind of guy. But I can do this with a laptop. It won't be as good as I usually do. But let us know. We're looking at the chat right now.
Yeah, so I think, so you'll be designing, so Tomasz is going to design or start to kind of go through the process of, okay, using Firefly to come up with a poster design. So I guess the theme, like, let's figure out like what theme do we want. Let us know in the chat if you have an idea for a theme. I know we've seen a lot on like the streams before, things around. We've already done like space, there's already been underwater, like get creative. Let's like think of an interesting prompt for Tomasz to go through.
Just have a mercy.
yeah. Be kind.
I'm gonna name it. So it looks like it's has been worked a long time. Okay, let me fill it with gray, and we're ready to start crack-a-lacking.
Yeah, and before you get started, I think there's an interesting question from Ali, which is, do you feel like this is more time efficient than your normal process, or do you find you're spending the same amount of time trying to piece together ideas?
I think it's more efficient. Just the process is more efficient, and the result, it's actually, with this shorter process, the result is way greater than before. Oh, my hands are disappearing. So I hope that makes sense, right? So you're not even spending slightly less, even though there was 1,100. I can't imagine me illustrating this. Like, I just can't. I can, but that will be days, right? So process is shorter, and then appreciation / trust / what I want to say, actually adaptation of this or going through revisions is way faster. This way, iteration. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Iteration. So the iteration between posters to make it better, or tell the better story, it's way faster. I can swear by. Literally, I've been trying this on a different poster. So I can show you something. Since we're generating questions in the chat, I can show you different project that started it all, right? If I may, of course.
You may.
Oh, awesome.
I'll speak for the chat.
Fantastic. So what you're seeing here, this was this was classic approach that I showed you before. So client actually was signing off on the first image. So imagine his or her imagination, right? If I tell them like, listen, I'm going to create this is going to be cool. So imagine when they say, yeah, Tomasz, go for it, right? So imagine that I can come to them with almost the last image. How cool is that? I'm going to try it a few times on the actual poster soon, and we'll let you know how it goes. And there is one actual project that I've started some time ago, is a poster that I've made for a film festival. You see the guy with a bunch of light bulbs and the cameras inside of them. And I was like, what if I was to reinvent this with Firefly, right? With this fly, actually. So I've trained our model on my own image that has certain colors, shapes, and forms. And I started generating actually those guys with the light bulbs, right? The first one is kind of too far, but I do honestly believe that in a commercial world, slash art, these are presentable images that you can evolve later over time. And this is what happens when you put type on it. I've spent on each one maybe 10 minutes. And I can honestly present it to folks that are approving this and saying, yeah, no, this is too far, this is too abstract, this is too dangerous, I don't know, the colors are off. So this was the first practical project that started it all. And I highly encourage you to try it and use this tool in a practical way, since we can generate actually not only square images, but vertical, horizontal, different aspect ratios. This can be awesome as a practical use. So this is me presenting internally. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I think we did have someone in the chat, a couple ideas coming through when you were asking like what theme should we have for the poster design that you're going to look at. I think one of them coming through was like a nature documentary series with like some typography and different animals was one suggestion. What else are we seeing come through? Josh was saying maybe collecting genetic material to create a space ark to send into space towards a distant new world to populate. Holy smokes, that's an idea. That was a mouthful.
Should we create some rocket with the babies inside? Okay. You want to try it?
Your mind is going places.
You guys are ready? I don't know what the results. That's kind of far from elephant, but highly detailed photogram theme. Maybe we can do it as a, I don't know, 70s poster, a rocket, with a rocket.
And while you're typing that, I think the other thing I want to say for the chat is there's been so many cool ideas too, or like, thank you for letting us know what you want to see in Firefly, because we're seeing them. There's things that we're working on that we can't necessarily fully talk about, but I think yes, and yes. Like, and I know people are wanting to maybe start not just from text image, or not just from like text prompts, but like what if they could start with images? I saw like that in the chat, like people wanting like more custom styles or being able to save styles, or like all of that are definitely things that like if you let us know you're interested in, like we're talking about, we're exploring, like we definitely want to keep pushing the boundaries with this. So yes, thank you.
Colors maybe warm tone, and I'm using right now here lighting, composition maybe wide angle. Shot from below. Okay, so I'm using Firefly to the fullest. Maybe I should change it.
And I'm sort of covering the area that is your screen of the the drop downs, but yes, there are.
I'm right here.
It's like the
that's
awesome.
awesome.
I knew that was coming. That was perfect.
That is awesome. Thank you.
Yes, but I always get confused because right now I'm moving my arms to the right, but it always moves to left. We're like flipped on from what we can see. But yes, down in the bottom corner, you were changing the drop downs, which is color and tone, lighting, and you have like a lot more control over there. Oh, sweet.
So first we're getting some images here. So now it will be time to maybe find a way to put the babies in there, right? That was ask. Oh gosh.
I don't actually, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I don't know if I said babies. I feel like somehow all of a sudden you said babies, and now you're like, we're gonna do babies in space. Like. Oh,
okay, cool. Since I don't have a babies, let's put babies in space. Since we have other planets. So how I'm looking at this right now is from storytelling perspective, right? So if we're telling the stories of this spaceship delivering babies somewhere to other planet, it doesn't make sense that we don't see other planet, right? So my natural instinct will be, okay, he this spaceship, metaphorically speaking, is between two planets. So that's sort of a good sign for me. It's leaving this space, leaving this planet, and it's going hopefully to another one. Again, the magic of posters is not the realism. It's actually often skewed, right? You won't see this exactly going to the point B on the planet, but you get the idea. And between those elements, you make your story in your brain. So you see at the bottom that this spaceship is leaving from somewhere and then going somewhere. There is another planet, right? So in your brain, hopefully, you're making this connection of this traveling somewhere else. So I'm gonna, just save it here, downloading. I may use it, and just for fun, let's see maybe something else we can create. And then I'll find some maybe within the same style. Maybe I can generate some babies and attach them somehow. I don't know.
That's a statement right there.
This is like one of the toughest
We
brainstorm.
did have in the chat also a suggestion from Michael of, and this is a long prompt, so I'm going to read it, but a hidden temple covered in overgrown vines and nestled amidst the dense jungle where a colossal mythical bird statue stands guard, its wings spread wide to protect the sacred space. I love it. I mean, you could come up with so many different prompts, and I'm curious too, like, what output would you get? Like, definitely be cool to test that in the beta as well.
We can try it. Yes. Ideally, I would love to see the treatment at the beginning of this prompt. So you're telling the software like, hey, how would I like to see it? Is it a painting? Is it
illustration?
Some sort of illustration, or carving, or some sort, or knitting? I don't know. There are so many different ways.
Sketchify,
right? So as we were talking about this path that you have to tell the computer what to do, that would be the best actually. So computer won't look for everything and give you some random output. So if you have it in your mind and you're seeing this as a carving in some rubber, type it. And then you'll see something that is closer within your imagination.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Paloma's like, wow, what a prompt. I agree.
Yes. It takes
but that's what you need to do, right? I mean, like, that's exactly right. You have, like, the more detail is the more specific of the output that you're going to get. So.
Yes. And, the reason why we sort of started this idea of creating a guide from prompts is for you to get more from this. Because now, for example, you may be, let's don't say disappointed, but you may be like, that's not what in my head, right? Which is a tricky question even for another person. If I was telling Danielle, guess what's in my head, she can say like 10,000
I'm going to get it because I'm a mind reader, but
yes, of course.
Other people, yeah.
But software is not. So it will generate something that you may not like, and you may get discouraged, etc., etc. But there is so much fun and exploration. Sometimes it sucks me in for a few hours. Don't tell anybody at work that I do this. From storytelling perspective, I'm seeing something actually cool. I'm glad that I refreshed that. So I'm seeing the planet. It's leaving from somewhere. The planet most likely is a target, and it will look beautiful within a poster field. So I think I saved it, but just for fun, I'm gonna refresh it again. Boom, and see what comes out of this. Oh, dun. Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah,
you see, now we can
cool.
Stop this Adobe Live, and I will still keep doodling. I think I have enough there. Maybe I'll save this just for fun, because you never know how it's going to look with the type on it, right? So type may obscure something, or maybe if I introduce those babies, or I don't know, whatever it's going to fly there, that may not work actually as a single image. Oh shoot, it works, right?
Well, and you may want to come back and then, based off of where you start to lay out typography, like move the spaceship, or be like more specific, or like put it more in like the left corner or top corner, or whatever that might be. And I know people in the chat were talking, there's a little bit of a conversation around like lighting, and if you now like have this photo, or you have this output, like more illustration style, like how do you start to tell it exactly how you want the lighting? Like if you want the lighting to change, how do you play around with that? And there's definitely like the bottom controls around lighting. So I think that might be something to address some of the questions in the chat too.
Yes, so within the lighting panel here that you're seeing on the bottom right, you can select a few different presets. Is it golden hour that I've been using? The reason why I'm using this is those oranges and blues. So when you said space, I see space as a something blue, and what's on the other side of the spectrum is orange. Two colors often used in Hollywood to show the contrast, right? The best way to show my face on something would be to have a blue background behind me, then you can see my face perfectly. That's why I thought of orange color to show the contrast, leaving from one place, going to somewhere else, right?
And that's all like general lighting. Do you have a sense? I think the other conversation was like, can you get as specific as like, the angle of the lighting and where you kind of want it to come in? Is that something you could put in the text field?
Yes, you can try it. Put the 45 degrees or studio lighting, etc., etc. So you can experiment with this. Also, we have a few different lighting setups here that I'm gonna try just for fun. Low lighting. Let's say dramatic lighting. What? How about that?
It's gotta be dramatic.
It's dramatic. We're going to.
Tomasz wants spicy.
Yes, spicy. Maybe I'll remove the warm tones, right? So let's remove warm tones and maybe not art, but maybe techniques. Maybe I'll use, I don't know. What do you guys want? Painting? I don't know. Oil painting. Let's try oil painting just for fun, right? And let's regenerate and we'll see how it changes. It should generate the same image, I believe, just with the different properties. So yeah, it generated something.
A little bit cooler tones and some of the, other than obviously the fire underneath, which is nice.
So you see this slightly differently lit. Maybe let's save this one just for fun. So maybe later on we can do this dramatic lighting. Let's change it to, backlighting. Let's see how it's gonna look. I don't have answers, so I'm not a computer, so I don't know exactly how it's gonna look. But I'm searching, and this is what it is for.
You're not a computer, Tomasz.
I am a computer.
Can't handle that.
I do this stuff all day long. It changed a little bit on the bottom right, on the right image. We can see this slightly differently lit. That is more silhouetted, so that sort of may help. I'm gonna generate something new because.
Well, and the other thing you can do, which is nice, is if there's one of the images that you're really interested in, it's close to what you want, but not quite. Like there is if you hover over it in the top left, right, find something similar, like look for something similar to this. So you can click on that and it will just generate based off of that one, again, like iterations that are a little bit closer. So again, that's another way that you can kind of riff off of it if you start to see something that you like without changing the entire prompt.
There's something also cool.
Interesting. These are like a little bit flatter, right? The others are a little bit more three-dimensional.
And this is painting right now, but what's actually cool, thanks for reminding me about this, there's this option here. Look at option and use as a reference image. So literally you can generate based on this image, right? On this that was generated, you want more of that, right? So use for reference image. You see this appearing here and, reference image a lot, and I'm regenerating. So you see, now you have a different options for that. Maybe let's do somewhere in the middle. Of course, you can play with everything. There is no numerical value added to it, but you see versions of that. You see different sky, but basically it's the same composition. So how cool is that? You can go from wide exploration, right? What would you do at the beginning? You explore. What kind of look and feel I'm looking for? And then you narrow it down to this final image that is like, that's it.
Can you spot the difference? I feel like it's like one of those games where you circle which one's slightly different.
Find 3 elements, and in the meantime, find Waldo there. So let's
find the baby in the photo.
Find the baby. You know what? Speaking of babies, I see babies as something in motion, and I get inspired by the image on the right, where you see those stars actually in some sort of motion. It adds a little bit of the moment. It tells the story that it's not static. Things are moving, right? So let me save it just for fun. I see the sliver of the planet. It goes from somewhere to somewhere. Fantastic. And I'm saving this right now. So let's try babies right now, but in some sort of embryo.
I'm really nervous for this, Tomasz. I'm not gonna lie. I've been waiting for you to get to that. And I'm
we did a lot of work to prevent this from generating images that are inappropriate or unsavory. So I hope I would not go into this territory. Although it should show me the monkey that I should not be doing this. So when we talk about how to prepare images that are similar, and I'm hoping for this right now, is literally I'm going to replace part of the prompt. And instead of rocket, I'm going to have embryo in a spaceship or capsule, right? So instead of a rocket launching from Earth.
And this is how you did your posters before, right? Like back to the previous question that someone had in the chat around how do you maintain the style, the look for now, and make sure that you create a bunch of different assets through that. This is an interesting way. This is one way to do it for now. Oh, baby, I'm so nervous. Oh, Tomasz. Baby embryo. Veronica in the chat.
Embryo,
just a cry face. I know.
Okay, let's see babies in.
Randy's baby with a jetpack.
Oh,
not upset by that. Not upset by that.
That's not exactly what I was looking for. I have to remove the Would this satisfy you? I have to remove the image actually.
Oh, okay.
That was sort of suggesting, hey,
it still had the
keep the add the baby to whatever you can. This is literally what
I
I was
wasn't
saying.
upset by it though. It was
No, it was actually fun. Oh, look at this.
Here we go.
This is not bad.
The third one, that one I'm interested.
Yeah.
I like that one.
So you know what? Now we can evolve this. But what the software does, it automatically sort of puts it on some sort of steady ground. I want this to be floating up in the air. The second image sort of does it, but the image of the kid is not perfect. So in a capsule.
Well, I think it's interesting because it gives you ideas too. Like there's like a baby with like a space helmet on, or like there's kind of like a helmet element. It's like, do you want that? I feel like you can get more specific too of like what the capsule looks like and things like that. If there's ones we're starting to see that we're like, oh, we like that more than the other.
Check this out.
This gives me a little bit of like Baby Yoda vibes. You know, he like floats in like a little capsule in Mandalorian.
Exactly. So I'm saving few. And again, this show is way too short for us to create fully fledged posters like as I did before. But this will give you a different idea. So I'm going to generate this 2 or 3 babies. We can compose them within the image, put some type on it, and call it a day. Yeah. So I think those 2 are awesome. This one is sleeping.
I still liked the one before. That was the third one also.
Which one? This?
Before you hit generate.
Shoot, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
We'll do another session just on babies next time. I'm gonna read all the comments later.
Josh liked the third one as well.
Oh, Josh, thanks. Sorry.
It could have been the third one that you just had.
Okay, which one I should choose? Should I keep rendering? Let's do 1 or 2 more of those.
I like the first, or maybe the first one.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, it has a bottom
kind of looking
here.
Off.
Sweet. Okay, baby saved. Should I do one more? Let's do one more.
Yeah,
just
one
for
more.
fun.
I'm into it now.
Because
we're deep enough, Tomasz. I'm like, we're in it. We're going for it now.
I mean, I can sit here for 6 hours straight and do this. But I want to show different babies to tell the story that these are different babies in a space, right? Not just one kind of baby. This is awesome. Second one, first one is kind of interesting.
Do we want to change the lighting at all on this? I know this one's still like backlit. Do we want to keep all the lighting on these the same?
Let's keep it for a consistency with the scene, right?
Yeah, when we think about piecing the whole thing together, it'd be nice.
So if I was to change it right now, this may be a little bit harder, and that's definitely we don't have much time to compose it in Photoshop. So I'm keeping the rest of parameters, if I may, for this. And later on, I can maybe play with this. Maybe one kid will have completely different spaceship that is traveling, right? But oh God, possibilities are endless. Yeah. I'm gonna save this.
And to Josh's point, if you do want to go back and like see previous versions you have, you can just hit like the back button and just like go back to like certain ones. No, you can't in this one.
Oh no, hey
like
there.
Here, yeah, if you just.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's awesome. It was not possible before. Oh,
I think
fantastic.
It's a new thing, yeah.
Awesome. So yes, you can. Awesome. Thank you. I'm learning every day. So now let's go to Photoshop.
We're updating. I mean, it's updating all the time, which is
cool. Which is awesome. Literally every day we get like, hey, this was updated. This was updated. So now let me close this. Can I close? Yeah, I'll close it. Let's close this. Okay, so this is not a mess. So now what I'm going to do is just drag those images. Let's review them again. And
so you're heading over to Photoshop, taking the images that you got from Firefly. Oh, sweet. Okay. Great.
So I have a bunch of those, and now it's the creative part, right? Which image feels good? Which image, now that I'm looking at all of them, I'm like, I can combine those. So this is the creative process that we're mentioning. So I don't know about you, but I like this image for following reason. I have enough space around to put like few of those embryos flying around. With other images here, the space is sort of taken by clouds, and it may sort of take too much of your attention from the babies to the clouds. So, and actually this V shape that clouds are making, it's sort of disturbing now that I look at it. I didn't see it before. Now it sort of takes over the rocket for me from creative perspective and storytelling. I want you to focus on the rocket, not on the V shape of the clouds, right? So this is kind of cool too, actually. Interesting. So which one should I choose? Like this, maybe?
All right, so we have 2 options in the chat. Let's give each of them a number. So this is number 1 if you like this one.
And this is number 2.
Number 2. So let us know which one to move forward with. And I know on our side it might be a little delayed, so we'll see it come through. I don't know. I think so.
Lower right.
Pull number 1 back up real fast.
Yep. Okay.
Real quick. So I think a lot of the differences are maybe in like the background, really, right? Look, I mean, the other one has kind of comments coming through. All right, yeah, we're seeing some numbers come through versus kind of an element of like another planet in the background. Uh-oh, we like the numbers coming through like 2 and then 1 and then. All right, we're seeing a couple 2s. Couple ones again.
I see what's
Couple
going on there.
twos, couple ones. Hey. All right, I'm seeing mainly twos. Let's go with number. I see. It was like two. Great, two it is. I'm seeing
so
overwhelming.
let's take the two, drag it to
Thank you.
Photoshop, place it as a smart object, right? So once you drag it, you get a smart object, and let's just stretch it. So do I have? No, I don't have a guide, but Command T, it's a transform, and I'm sort of looking at the center. So I'm in my mind right now. What I'm doing, trying to center the rocket. The reason why I'm trying to center the rocket is how your mind works, how your eyes are reading this, most likely from the top to the bottom, and not from left to right, but from the top to the bottom. So important information will be cord, and additional storytelling elements will be surrounding that, right? So when you glance, you read that it's a rocket, there are some babies, and at the bottom, there will be some serious typography, hopefully telling you the story. And in the meantime, in the meantime, let's think about the name of this film or something.
It's actually a great one to give to the chat, yeah.
Embryos
Please think
in
of
space.
the title of this poster.
So, and I'm leaving, as you can see, I'm leaving a little sliver of nothingness at the bottom. The ground is there for a reason. So I'm going to use it as a device to place legible type on it, right? So I have sense of place, I have some sort of story, and I'll have a typography to go with it. And I have already everything prepared. And you see that this spaceship is going somewhere. And again, it's not going to be exactly taking the babies, because it would be really hard to show the spaceship taking the babies, right? But we're gonna cheat. Like every single movie poster, it's a slight cheat, right? So you'll see the babies, you'll sort of get the idea. Okay, I'll stop talking now. And okay.
Anytime I see you at the office now and you say the word babies, I feel like there needs to be something.
Dude that should have a baby, right? And let's select maybe one or two. Let's do three. They go fun. So I will save you from selecting. Let's take this baby.
Yeah. I like
maybe
this
baby.
Yeah, that second one there.
Maybe this one. What do you say? This has a different shape. This has a different shape. This has a completely different shape. Which one would you like, Danielle?
I like the second one, the
You
last
got it.
one, and either the third or fourth one, I think.
Let's do the fourth
Maybe,
one.
yeah.
Okay, so these three, right? Okay, I'm popping them in. Boop, 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 boop. And let's put Photoshop to a test. I do sounds, yes.
I love it. Yeah.
Bloop, bloop. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to turn off all the other layers, and I'm going to really quickly try to mask it using filter. Oh, by the way, very important stuff, because often these images are not generated at really enough high resolution for all of you, right? If you work with print, you work with the 300 dpi or something, please use neural filters to enhance, to enlarge images. And within filters, you have super zoom right here. Super zoom. Please use it to make your images bigger, because that's what I'm often seeing with folks having problems with.
It's a good trick.
Yes, that's like a trick. So you have 4 times bigger image with decent elements, right? So let's go to select.
Also, before, don't want me to interrupt, but before, I can't see this part of the chat, 2 potential names for this title is Randy had In a Galaxy Far, Far Away, ... Not bad. Blitzy also had space, wait, how to say it? Space brios? Space brios. Say that
okay.
10 times fast. I can barely say it once.
Space
I can read
brios?
it, but yeah.
Almost like space
brios.
bras in a way. You know, the reason why I'm doing this manually right now, and please do not judge me, I'm doing this on a laptop. And it's crazy.
Like a touch and... Yeah.
Yes, I'm on a touchpad. This is not Tomasz, I promise.
This is a classic. You realize you're like, shoot, we're live. You're just seeing it. You're seeing the nitty-gritty of this process. Yeah.
So what I just did, I just masked this little dude. I'm gonna put him here. I'm gonna do exactly this. Since I'm seeing we have 4 minutes to go. So I'm gonna mask this little dude here. This is awesome. Actually, it did wheels on this. Awesome. And again, you can iterate on that for the rest of the week, and have a different angles, different lighting on those kids. Maybe somewhere there are 2 of them or 3 of them. The sky is the limit, literally. Honest. And
we have Veronica with Galactic Goo Goo. Not upset by that. That's pretty good.
Galactic Goo Goo.
Celestial Neonate. Nice.
Okay, I'm almost done with masking, reversing the mask, Command I, and turning on my beautiful spaceship here. And let's transform them. So maybe there's somewhere here, a dude sitting here.
Yes. And I think this is like a great place. I'll let you kind of keep jamming slightly, but it's cool to start to see this coming together. I know we don't have Tomasz for forever. I like feel like we're just like getting a look inside of your brain for a very slight moment, which I'm very like, it's fun. But yeah, I think this has been really cool just to get a sense of like how you've started to use Firefly, like someone who's like worked on Firefly, but also like how you actually practically use it to create a poster design, like whether it's just like little moments and assets and then like collaging that together and then being able to see again like the variety of like photorealistic to like illustrations, all the different styles. I definitely think it'll be fun to like see the final output, like maybe put a title on this at some point and like share that back out, because this was a wild one. I really like that top baby, by the way.
It's really, really cool. So are we set on title?
I mean, we have like 1 minute left if you want to pick one of these and call it, but I think with that we'll probably have to wrap soon as well. Baby's Day Out 2. I like how it's 2.
Okay. Baby's Day Out 2. Like this. Okay. So, little secret. Baby's Day Out 2.
And you'll finish this, I'm sure, offline and share it with everyone. But we do have to wrap. So I do want to say thank you, Tomasz, for joining us on the stream. Super fun to see your process. And thank you everyone for joining us, who joined us in the chat. Stay tuned at 1 o'clock. We are going to have another designer and more people on the stream. Ted Chin is going to be looking at Firefly and Photoshop. So definitely stay tuned. Thank you all so much.
Guru. Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye.